Thank you for joining us for this DDI CADcast. Today's topic is what's new 2015 SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation. In SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation 2015, we've continued to improve upon the compare results functionality. If I turn on the compare tool, I can now compare XY plots as well as display tabular data results as a bar chart. We need to change the results from table to chart and make sure column is selected on. In addition to the compare tool, new functionality has been added to the Pack and Go tool. We now have support for flow simulation results with Pack and Go. Notice how it's just not the FLD files, but a couple more support files as well. Another new and very important functionality that we've added to flow simulation in 2015 is the ability to introduce what's called a sliding mesh mode that will simulate rotating your equipment around and agitating your fluid region. Now, this new local rotating region functionality will give us more accurate simulations in cases where you have a rotator-stator interaction, such as an impeller for a pump situation. Maybe you have a pump with some tubings, and you have some stator boundary conditions. The new sliding local rotating region will be the best approach for that situation. Now, to run a sliding mesh local rotating region, you do need to have a time-dependent study, which is what you see here for this screenshot we have here. You do need to turn on the time-dependent option when you set up your project. And when you run your calculation under the preview, you'll be able to go in and see the actual rotating of, in this case, the propeller. We have a little animation here of a video I took from my preview window while performing the calculation. Now, to set up your local rotating region with that sliding mesh mode, all you would need to do is start a new project with the wizard or with a template. In this case, I already have a project ready to go. I can go in and edit the general settings. And under the analysis type, under rotation, we can specify under type local regions sliding. That and the checkbox for time dependent are the two requirements to run this new local rotation region. The only thing left after that is to apply your local rotating region as you have always done in previous versions of flow simulation. Now, one of the considerations to take when you're going to be using this local sliding mesh or rotating mesh is that it takes much more time to solve because of the time dependencies and the constant shifting of these elements during this sliding of the mesh. So be prepared to spend more time in calculation. Some of the remaining items that are new in SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation 2015 are more on the minor side. For example, the Calculation Control Options UI has been slightly altered. Let's go and take a look at it here. So they've just slightly changed and added some more visual organization to all the different tabs we have under Calculation Control Options. Another more important enhancement is, in addition to the engineering database, we've added a set of commercially available filters along with their data, and it's included in the engineering database. Also, a UI change between 2014 and 2015 is the location of the flow simulation menu. It's good to point this out at this time. Previously, it was located at the very top of the pull-out menu in SOLIDWORKS. It has now been embedded under the Tools main menu under Flow Simulation. Other than that, the organization is still the same. We'll go under the Tools within the Flow Simulation menu, and we'll go to Engineering Database. And we can take a look at our filter entries that are new in 2015. Another minor enhancement that is nice to see is that you can now multi-edit multiple solid material definitions in a flow project. We can go ahead and take two components. We can do a control select to select both components. Choose edit definition. Let's pick a different material here. And that both of those components have that same material. While we have this model open, let's talk about a new utility call the Component Explorer. Component Explorer is a way to review all of your material definitions and heat sources for all your parts in your project. To access the Component Explorer in SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation, we'll go to the Tools menu at the top, drill down through Flow Simulation, go down to Tools, and choose Component Explorer. The Component Explorer will show up on the bottom section of your SOLIDWORKS window, and will list every single component that has a material definition to it, as well as the default material, which is in our case an insulator. We can filter also the volume sources away. We can turn those off or turn those on. And if you made any changes to your different material definitions or volume source definitions, you can hit Scan to update the Component Explorer. Again, the idea here is to be able to look at the different material properties of your models and see what you've put in for different volume sources. Perhaps for the sake of troubleshooting, maybe you have some results that look a little strange. This is a good way to go in and mass interrogate all these different constraints added to your project. Let's talk about some other usability improvements that have been added to flow simulation in 2015. The first one is we now have reporting of faster transient analysis calculations compared to earlier versions of SOLIDWORKS. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Another enhancement is the ability to stop your calculation once you reach a certain value. If you look here at the screen at the bottom there, in the red rectangle, we can go in and we can specify any or all of our goals, and we can give it a specific value. We just click on the greater than or less than absolute value, and we enter value, and the calculation will stop once it satisfies that Boolean operation. The next enhancement is quite nice. It's the ability to add gravity and pi to our equation editor when we're editing our equation goals. This next usability improvement is going to help quite a bit with productivity for those of you that like to work on multiple projects, which I think is all of us here. We can go in and we can work with our pre-processing and our post-processing of our projects while calculating another project. For example, here with this Collider project, I'm going to go ahead and run that. And while I run that project, I'm going to be able to go in and work on the pre-processing of my other project here, this external fan project. I can go in and I can do some editing, modifications, all while solving the other project. That's going to be a nice enhancement there for productivity. And the last thing to talk about is leak tracking connection line improvements. When you're going in and you have a model and it's not airtight for a internal analysis, we can now use the leak tracking tool, and in this version it's improved. It's been created to generate a more thick line going from your first component, interior component, to your outside component, as well as if you zoom in and out, that line will still be easy to see even when you zoom out. Here's a quick example of the improvements to leak tracking in Flow Simulation 2015. We removed a little steel band around the piston there that seals up the piston housing. We're going to turn on leak tracking. And we'll take a look at the connection line. Which is a little more thick. In previous versions, when you would zoom out, that line, that connection line became quite thin and hard to see. So it's definitely updating in real time there for us. So that sums up the topics for 2015 SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation What's New. For more CADcast topics, please check out our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/ddicad or our tech blog at ddicad.com/techcenter. Thanks for watching.